Pennsylvania CareerLink welcomes you to Highlights Along the Journey, a series of recorded events meant to spark interest along your journey to a new career opportunity. We are employees of the Pennsylvania Department of Labor, Bureau of Workforce Partnership and Operation. Our scope features current, market-driven needs of both employers and job seekers. Our mission is to discover and promote all that is new in employment trends, education, and training in Southwestern Pennsylvania and beyond. We're starting the conversation, and we sincerely welcome you to explore these highlights along the journey.
Okay, thank you so much for your patience. And as Lori said, my name is Chiquita Barnett, and I am the program director and the recruiter for Builders Guild of Western Pennsylvania. Mr. Jeff Nobers is our executive director. Mr. Ronald Sapp is our program manager, administrator, mentor, and he's also the liaison with the skilled trades and the construction industry. So I want to thank you for joining us for this information session on the introduction to the construction trades and how you or your clients or people that you know in your circle of influence can take advantage of this opportunity. As I said, if you could just write the questions in the chat box or hold them to the end, and hopefully I can share as much information as I have before we run out of time and we can get back to you. Questions are going to come up about what do we have to do? We are in the current enrollment period for the January 4th cohort through the end of this week. The reason why we're doing it so soon is there's a lot of steps involved, and we work very closely with Trish and CareerLink, and we want to get a lot of this done before the holidays. It's usually not this far out, but it takes us about 6 weeks to get through the enrollment process, WIOA eligibility, getting documents for the folks, because we've never had a self-pay that went through this program. It's all based on funding through PA Smart Funds, and there's the trades themselves. Construction companies do scholarships as well as private funders. So that one starts January 4th, and then we have 2 more currently scheduled. Hopefully COVID won't take away from those times that we have coming up in the spring. Okay, there's our Builders Guild website. We're a labor management initiative. We represent over 16 trades. We have 8 affiliated general and specialty contractors and the Pittsburgh Construction and Building Trades Council. Our primary focus is on promoting professionalism, skill, commitment, and pride in union construction. We are creating and promoting opportunities for long-term careers in the construction trades, and we are among our region's citizens, and while we're also building a diversified workforce area. So today we're going to focus on the benefits of a career in the skilled trades, examples of some of the construction companies who hire our graduates, and the minimum requirements to participate in the Introduction to Construction Trades Free Apprentice Training course. Here you see, you'll see this on our webpage as well. And these are members of the Builders Guild who support Introduction to Construction Pre-Apprentice Training. Partner for Work is a huge supporter, working along with CareerLink, and Highmark is just one of the private funders who have come along to help us in this initiative and to help us to get more diversity in the trades. We are a PA eligible training provider, and with that, it opens up the training to surrounding counties. If we have anybody on the line, we have had participants from Washington, Beaver, Greene, Butler, Fayette, and Westmoreland counties. And actually for this particular cohort, we have out of the 104 people that expressed an interest, we have 21 of those are non-Allegheny County residents. This is something that I use as well. We share with our students and people who are looking to change careers. You can see in the right-hand side that build on careers. You see there are 4 different areas that are part of the construction industry. So the career ladder is unlimited. In the middle there is where you see those that are coming out of high school and or those who are looking for a career change. So I always tell, especially the young people, that there's IT in construction. And where I used to walk around with the yellow pads for the foremans and supervisors are using iPads now. There's technology in estimating, as well as there's accounting, there's attorneys, there's all kinds of project management. So you don't have to just go into the trades and feel that you're going to be working on the front line forever. All of those different careers are out there that they can build into in the construction industry. So we say, why pursue a career in the trades? Again, I'm speaking to those who are not sure. You can have apprentice in different trades. We talked about this 15, 16, 17 different trades. Most apprenticeships are 3 to 5 years. You see the salaries anywhere from $17 to $30 an hour. Apprentice journeyman can earn as much as $150,000 over that period, as well as benefits. You have to be 18, legally able to work in the United States. Drug-free is huge. Not medicinal purposes, we go by federal guidelines. It's zero tolerance for drugs. They do random drug testing, and you can very well, lose your position if you come up randomly and you're dirty, you're not clean. Valid driver's license and reliable transportation. The preference is to have your own personal vehicle. We go back and forth with this. I've done a lot of different communities. Well, I can catch a bus, I can catch a jitney, I can Uber, I can Lyft. Well, if you're working, 50 miles away on a construction site, and it could be that far away from your home, and you're working on the side of the road on a highway, a Lyft or Uber is not going to make it for you. So we always try to make sure that folks have access, we say, to reliable transportation, but the preference is to have your own vehicle. And that could be a barrier for some. And we just talked about the career ladders. This particular information here, I'm not going to go over all of that. I can also send this out, but this is what I talk to when I talk to high school students and career counselors in the high schools. We talk to students as early as the 8th grade, middle school. Then we talk to juniors and also seniors. And we've had some students that have come out of the Penn Hills and Woodland Hills area that I've done presentations to. Everybody, college isn't for everybody. And as you can see on the left side there, no cost, no debt, how much you can earn over a 4-year period. I call this my alternative degree option. And I always preface it and do a disclaimer with students saying, please don't go home and tell your parents that, Ms. Chiquita said, I don't have to go to college. That is not what this particular screen is about. It's about showing you options and what you can do. And then we also talk about, even after a 4-year apprenticeship, you can go back to school. You can go to college with a career in mind to work in the construction industry. So again, appealing to our younger group, as well as to those who are roller coaster fanatics, such as myself. I know that everybody here, hopefully on the line, I can assume, has been to Kennywood. And this is the newest project that opened up over this summer. And I've used this again for young people who get excited about Kennywood, but they don't really realize that we are a heavily unionized part of the country, Western Pennsylvania. And this is labor intense, meaning that everybody that worked on this particular project was from a union. If you've paid any attention to the news lately, you'll see that Kennywood's going to be removing a lot of some of the older rides, and they're going to continue to build and build and build. Like I said, I'm a retired roller coaster fanatic, although my family refuses to accept it, but I got real excited about this. This is one of the biggest and best, so they say, coasters in the country now. And why do I use that? It's because how many different trade unions do you think were present on this job? I was privileged to a couple of pictures that were from the very beginning. You see the racer over there in the corner. And I use this again when I'm talking to career counselors and students. This is just an illustration. I also I say that the laborers, operating engineers, you see iron workers, carpenters, cement masons, and various construction companies that work on this. So I say this to show you that each one of these trades have a skill. And I, again, pointing out that if you're an operating engineer and you don't get to work on time, then you throw everybody behind. One of the things that our course shows and teaches is about being on time. Early is on time and on time is late. And each worker is expected to be in that place and ready to work at that start time. So if the operating engineers are late, nobody else can get any work done. And time is money when you're talking about general contractors who have to work on a budget and where time is critical. So we talk about in our class from a pre-apprentice perspective, how one trade depends upon the other, and that everybody has to work together toward a common goal. Again, here are some more construction photos. Being in skilled trades gives you an opportunity to be a part of a legacy. At the end of this project, all the workers signed that last beam that went into place. And we actually had a graduate on this project. So every time he takes his family to Kennywood, you can imagine the pride he shows as he shows his children, you know, I worked on that. But not only that, but his children and his children's children, because that coaster is going to be out there for a very long time. And he'll continue to tell that story from generation to generation. And that's something else that we share with our students and our participants about not only being a legacy, but or leaving a legacy, but also how that impacts not only their family, but their communities and then all the other folks in the community that are watching them go to work every day. And again, these are pictures taken from one of our graduates that worked on this job. You probably have seen our flyers, and it tells you about the point out the curriculum. We do math, we do OSHA 10 certification, CPR, a lot of hands-on. We are 6 days, I should say 6 weeks, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We're located at 1231 Banksfield Road at the Boilermakers Apprentice Training Site, and 95 to 100% attendance is required. If they're not able to do that, then we ask them to leave. And we have had, this last year, we had 131 that started that were enrolled, and 127 actually graduated. So we're not about numbers as far as who we want there and as trying to get, you know, payment. If it's not a commitment and the person is not interested or they're not engaged, then we ask them to leave. And we've done that on several occasions. It's from 9 to 1 with the exception of travel. So if you go to New Alexandria, for instance, for operating engineers, that's pretty much a full day. That's a 45-minute ride one way. And we also pay $25 per day as a stipend. Again, here's our minimum preferred qualifications. They have to be 18. One of the things that someone pointed out to me, I don't have high school diploma on the flyer. I'm going to have that redone. Drug-free is critical. We don't screen in, we do screen out. So when you come into the class on the first week, we let you know with our drug workshop that at the end of the 6 weeks, if you do not pass the drug screen that we administer, then you do not get recommendation letters. We do 3 recommendation letters per participant based on their desired trade that they want to apply for. Legally able to work in the United States, we talked about that. Some work experience preferred, but not required. A driver's license, I had to put valid on there because I've asked folks when our initial screening, do you have a driver's license? And they say yes, but it's suspended. Well, that doesn't work. It has to be a valid. Well, I've had people that I've talked to that have suspended licenses and never had one in the beginning. It took me a while to figure that one out, but There are people that have suspended driver's licenses, or they can't apply for one based on something they may have done, or some run-in with the law or traffic violation. This is an example of some of the construction companies that come in and talk with our students and actually hire our graduates. Mascaro, huge. There's their website if you'd like to go out and try and check them out. Some of the things that they do. Again, they support us and they come in and talk to our students. Fay Company. I don't know if you recognize this site. It's easier to look at where it's located. I usually see it from Center Avenue and Washington. You see PPG Place. It's at Epiphany Church up on the hill here. You see that's Bedford Avenue and well, I don't know, it's Crawford Street. But you can see how large this construction site is when you look at the people and some of the equipment that's out there. This is what's going on right now, pretty much in the middle of the city. PJ Dick. Here's a legacy. I've heard people talk about it. You see the name has changed. It's not Consol Energy Center anymore, but the building is still there. PJ Dick, Trumbull, and Lindy, they're all, I guess I'm calling them cousin, sister, brother companies, but they also hire our graduates. I put this here because there are there's not enough, I should say, women that are in the construction business or construction industry. And when you look at this, you can see that women have been a part of construction for decades. And right now, over the last 4 years that we've been doing this training, I can say that less than 10% of our graduates have been women. Although right here in the middle here, this is Sherelle, and we're going to see a little video on her. She's actually going into her 4th year as an apprentice on her way to journeyman and operating engineers. We're looking at all women. You see, remember Rosie the Riveter? This is back in during the war times, but women have been a part of the construction industry for a long time. So this next testimonial, hopefully you'll be able to hear it, are from graduates who are in the Painters Union.
I was approached with this opportunity to come into the union, and I jumped at it.
I would recommend a trade because I feel like trades can really push you forward in life.
What's attracting about it is like basically a trade is a skill. Like skills could pay the bills.
I wanted to make more money and be able to make sure that my kids are taken care of.
Being able to come here and have an opportunity to gain a career while also putting that money in your pocket, I won't never have to really worry.
Intro to Trades it gives us the ability to search for individuals that would play into our industry really well. They've been vetted, understand the importance of being on time, have a background, show up for class on time. We'll be moving through the program a little bit slow to go in the first couple years of the apprenticeship. But once you get to journeyman, you can work for multiple different contractors. So it does provide a solid income to make a better life for yourself and your family.
I worked in the restaurant industry roughly 15 years, but the pay wasn't there. That's really what made me change it. I wanted to change the scenery. I wanted to do something different. Been cooking for 15 years, you got to do something else. If you're not moving up in the company.
I was working over 40 hours, but I was never seeing the money, that I would make here or that I would make somewhere where they're more organized or they have, benefit package and stuff like that.
I went to college, earned a degree, and I started working different part-time jobs, just trying to make ends meet. Being here in this trade and realizing that I could make just as good as a living, if not maybe even better, as a lot of people I went to school with, this is an opportunity that I absolutely just thought this would be great to do. The trade itself is something that each day is a day that you kind of grow into. The knowledge and the information isn't just in your mind, it comes into your hands as well.
The benefits of learning a trade is you take it wherever you go. You can go to another state and do the same thing there and start building your life there.
I've been able to pick up things and learn things, because it's easier for me to learn with my hands. So the fact that this is all hands-on stuff, I can literally just pick it up and go. I enjoy every last bit of it.
Everybody hear that? Yes. Great. Okay. No more. This is one of the class visits to the bricklayers. And this is also a good time to remind you that we do not train a specific trade. Our goal is to introduce the participants to various trades via hands-on visits or a representative visit to the classroom. This is a visit to the bricklayers. They have the hands-on. You have two here. You have the cement masons in the upper left-hand corner, and also the Boilermakers. We give all of our students shirts, and they wear name tags when they go to the visits, because a lot of times when they get there and they do well, we have some of the joint apprentice training coordinators who will walk up to our students and say, you know, you're really good at this. You might want to consider to apply. And again, they also have portfolios. I have it so that at the end of their the class, when they graduate, not only do they have the certificates, but they have portfolios that they take with them. So that brand is there, and the interviewers and the folks at the Joint Apprentice Training Centers, they remember these students. We talk about, you know, shaking hands and talking and eye contact, asking questions, and using those opportunities to get to know the folks that are going to be making that decision as to whether they get into that trade or not. This is the operating engineers. Everybody loves going out there because they're on a heavy equipment. Again, this is at least a 45-minute drive away. Again, another point to having your own transportation, because if you get into the operating engineers, you have to go there at least 3 or 4 times per year for a week of training. And that's driving out and back. Some people have gone out and gotten a motel just to stay and be close. Otherwise, they have to come back to Pittsburgh and drive back out the next day to be out there by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. Another reason to have reliable transportation. So if you have to be on a job at 7 o'clock in the morning and that job is 50 miles away, then you need to be up at 4 or 5 to get yourself together to be out there by 6:30. But this is one of the visits. You probably see my bus back there. We do have transportation. And this is the visit to the Carpenters Union. I used to see KML. They're now the Eastern Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters. They've combined with the Philadelphia area across the state. And one of the things that we mentioned and they learned at the Carpenters is that the Carpenters has several allied trades within the Carpenters. They're commercial carpenters. They have heavy highway carpenters, floor covers, mill cabinet workers, millwrights, and pile drivers. So once you get into the trade, you may find another a subspecialty of that trade. And this is what they learn when they go out and they visit these different trades. Iron workers.
All right, he's going for the
guy
right.
on the left, he's 19.
Got him going.
One of our graduates. They go, this is located on Liberty Avenue.
Go ahead.
He went up there so fast, I could have called him Spider-Man. We have a lot of students that couldn't get that high. Again, if you drive down Liberty Avenue, you'll see that. But if you're afraid of heights, then the iron workers would not be a trade that you would go into. This is our sheet metal workers. You get in, they put you on all the equipment. You go into those welding booths, see how hot it is, put your equipment, gloves on. Again, it's a site visit. It gives them an opportunity to learn if this is something they want to do. As we're starting to wind down here, I want to introduce you once again to Sherelle. She is a Introduction to Construction graduate in her 4th year as an operating engineer, and she works for Linde. We showed you Linde before. She has had the privilege of working for Linde, the same company, for the last 4 years since graduation. She was selected to represent women in the trades and also future road builders, who also supports the Introduction to Construction. This is an excellent, excuse me. This is an excellent way for students Those who aren't quite sure, for high school students who like to, play different games. And this is the way that they can gain construction industry knowledge online. It's free, and it's nice I have cards that I give to the students or to when I go to the high schools. And you can complete games. You also get digital badges that you earn when you complete the different types of games on there. And the trades recognize those trades. So this next video will give you a closer look at Future Road Builders and Sherrell. Maybe.
I make more money if I would have graduated from college. I don't owe any debt. I have benefits. I make more money if I would have graduated from college. I have annuity. I don't owe any debt. There's nothing more you can ask for. Benefits, full health care. I actually was attending community college. There's nothing more you can ask for. I needed a career right then and there. I actually was attending community college. The biggest thing that stood out to me about Future Road Builders, I couldn't wait for the next year. They have an online program that you could get a certificate off and get a little bit of experience in the construction industry before you go to your interview. And then when you go to your interview, you have a certificate which helps you get the job. The most rewarding thing about my job, the biggest thing that stood out to me about Future Road Builders, but I work with all gas, that you can get a certificate, and it would be nice to see other women out there experience, because we can do anything that they before you go to your interview. And then when you go to your interview, you have
people afraid to get on it. It's so high and it's hot up there. And
the most rewarding thing about my job
she said
is that I get paid to do something I love.
She's been on her ever since, I wish we had more people like Sherrell. Sherrell's a very good worker. Like I said, she's not afraid to get her hands dirty, jump on a machine.
I apologize for that. I think I clicked it once too many times, but there's an opportunity for you to see that if you go out to the Future Road Builders, and you'll see that spotlight on Sherrell. Let's see if I can get this to move to the next line. I don't want to play that again. Okay, here we go. So as we finish up, this is the Washington Place and Center Avenue intersection of that job I showed you a little earlier. And we have these banners that we put up where our graduates work to encourage others. And you can see our graduates work here. And we also have this banner out, I think it's in East Liberty, the Whole Foods project on Penn Avenue. And again, we're branding as well with our logo you see there, creating opportunities for residents of our neighborhoods, tells you where to apply. And we tell our students to invest wisely in their future. Working in the construction industry is a life-changing career and not a job. I apologize for all of the technical difficulties. This is a first, and I think it went pretty smooth. I hope that we do have time for some questions if you want to unmute yourself and ask or let me know what you think.
Chiquita, we do have a question in the chat.
I can't see the chat.
Okay, so this is
let me stop sharing my screen.
Okay.
Okay.
The apprenticeship programs, let's see, are advertised as earn as you learn programs. Are any earnings associated with the pre-apprenticeship program?
There is a $25 per day stipend while you're in the while you're in the 6-week program.
Okay. Okay. Also, another question is, can you get an advanced standing in the apprenticeship program based on prior work experience, certifications, and/or education, or does everyone need to start at square one?
Everyone needs to start at square one.
Okay.
We're only 6 weeks.
Right.
And if you have those certifications, or if you already have what we are currently offering, then it will be a help, because what we will add to that are recommendation letters and the networking. or we can help you go straight into a trade without going to our course.
So if somebody had certifications and they came to you, they would have to go through the 6 weeks, and then you provide them with letters of recommendation to the trades.
Correct.
Okay. Cool.
So we've had people who have come, or participants that have come, that have had maybe flagging background, but they didn't have OSHA 10, or some who may have OSHA 10, but they don't have CPR. Those who may have welding certificates, but they don't want to be a welder. They want to see what else they can use or where else they can transfer that skill to. That is what the Introduction to Construction, that is our pre-apprentice offerings for that.
Okay, Chiquita, you had mentioned that there was a bus. So if someone had transportation to get to the training center, which is on Banksville Road, from there, they would use the bus if you go out to various work sites, right?
Right, that's our charter that we use for the 6 weeks. So if we're going, say for instance, we're going to the, we'll say laborers. The laborers are located out in Saxonburg. Then they would drive here to class as they would do normally. And then I have a charter that takes them as a class over to the laborers and bring them back to their cars.
Okay, so I'm just going to continue to ask questions. Everybody's very quiet today. What would be the next step for someone who's interested in your class? You said it's coming up January 4th. Is that correct?
That is correct. Now let me say to you that from a financial perspective, there's a couple of steps. And one is that we get everything that everybody that applies online. That's a requirement, because I don't have a place where I can pass out paper like we used to do in my previous location. So I receive every registration directly into my inbox. I drop them into an Excel spreadsheet, and I send out a email blast to all of those folks who I've received a registration from to ask them if they are still interested. And the reason why I do that is because you can apply online at any time. You don't have to wait until there's an enrollment period, because those enrollment periods change based on when the cohorts start. So if you have somebody that's interested, then they can apply. I give them all a call if they respond to me and say, I'm interested. Now, once that happens, they have an interview with Mr. Sapp. Mr. Sapp interviews them, and he takes it to the next step as far as commitment, what their experience is. We ask in the initial interview or initial screening, do you have a car? Do you have a driver's license? If you don't have a driver's license, then we're not going to schedule you to speak with Mr. Sapp, because you're not going to qualify, not only for our program, but not even to get into the skilled trade. You need to have a driver's license. Or if you don't have a GED or a high school diploma, I don't move you into the next level to talk with Mr. Sapp. We schedule those interviews. Mr. Sapp determines at that point who he'd like to have in the class and who he thinks is going to be, committed, through the whole interview process. After that, then I meet with them again, because now at this point, we have to determine eligibility for WIOA funds, or for private funding. Like I said earlier, it costs about close to $6,000 per person, and we've never had anyone that wasn't funded in some way, shape, or form, whether it be a Builders Guild scholarship, whether it be that they are a dislocated worker, whether it be that they qualify for WIOA standards as far as how big their family is. All of those things are taken care of after talking to Mr. Sapp, and he says yes. I meet with them again, and I get all of their documentation that I can. You're under 18, selective service, if you're getting unemployment compensation. I gather all of that documentation, and I meet with CareerLink personnel, or CareerLink contact. And I submit all that information and they put it in the system. Everybody has to be registered in CareerLink. Everybody, whether they get WIOA funds or not. And that determination after that is made as to whether they will fit into one of those categories of eligibility. And once that happens, then they meet with the CareerLink representative to finalize everything. That's why we're pushed back so far because of January, because it takes time to pull all of that together and make all those decisions. Who qualifies for funding, who does not. And I don't only do that with Allegheny County, but I also do that with all the other counties that, excuse me, we have relationships with.
Okay, Chiquita, there's a couple other questions in the chat. Someone had asked the exact address of the location where the classes are held.
1231 Banksville Road, directly across the street from the Eaton Park. And we are at the Boilermakers apprentice training site.
Okay, and I'll type that in there as well. And then another question is regarding individuals that do not have a GED or high school diploma.
What's the question?
Well, are they referred to CareerLink to help them get their GED, or what is that?
Okay, we work with Literacy Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh.
They actually do our instruction on construction math. And we have had one student or one participant that did not have their GED. So with our counseling and working with Literacy Pittsburgh, they were able to help him. Now, I'm not sure if he has attained that or not, or earned it at this point, but that's what the referrals are for. Either CareerLink would help them out, or we've been going directly to Literacy Pittsburgh.
Right, and we probably would do the same, so that's fine.
Any other questions?
I have a question. I'm going to introduce myself. Miss Lori, this is to you. I tried to send you an email. I am in the CareerLink on Wood Street.
Okay.
So we work with non-custodial clients, job seekers, but we're housed with the CareerLink. But we're a part of Equus, and we've obtained a contract with the Allegheny County Bureau of Child Support. So we have to assist NCPs to, we have quite a few that are interested, and they'll probably meet the qualification. Most of them meet the qualifications that's required. Lori, do you want me to go through you? Because I tried to send you an email, but it came back.
You tried to send me an email or Lori?
Lori, I tried to send
okay.
Lori an email introducing myself.
Sure. Yeah, just reach out to me and I will. I'll put my email in the chat too.
Yeah, it came back undeliverable to me.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in here for everyone as well.
Okay.
And yeah, you can reach out to me there. And then there's Chiquita has put hers as well. We have the address in there.
I see what happened. 2 L's.
2 L's, yeah, it throws people.
Yeah. 2 L's. Okay.
And so you have clients that are interested in participating in the upcoming class in January?
Uh-huh.
Wonderful. Good. Good.
Okay, well, they need to get that in, and they need to put the registration in online as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And please ask them that when they get to the referral field, that they put, you in there or your organization. We've been trying to follow up and get back to those organizations that refer so that we can help with the case management sometimes.
Yes.
And that way
we do keep them for 6 months.
Right.
So they are allowed to go through short-term certification such as this. I just didn't know we can go directly with you, but I didn't know what the protocol, because we're not attached to CareerLink. We're just
Oh, that's
housed with
okay. That's
CareerLink.
okay. That's
So,
okay. And I'm
okay.
just saying, if you put it, make sure that they put your organization or your name or some kind of qualifier or identifier in the referral
Okay.
field. I mean, I do ask in my initial screening, I do ask when they come in, I mean, they probably get tired of me asking the same questions over and over again, but it's critical for, I mean, even for when we write grants or whatever, people will ask us, you know, what is our recruiting fee? What have we done to reach out and recruit? And what the feedback has been. And you may come back to me and say, how many people from, you know, my organization graduated or went through. So it's good for have partnerships that we can, you know, data share.
And we bring them here to our office by appointment, and most of ours don't have computer access, so we work with them one-on-one, but we also do our own follow-up to make sure that they're attending. So I would, myself or my teammate would work closely with you by the week to see if they're showing up. So we have a little more structure of hands-on, because we have to, we have to retain them as well as make sure weekly that they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely. We appreciate that. Wish we had more organizations that did that. Any other questions? I feel like I rushed it, even with my technical difficulties, but go ahead.
All right, so I actually work for state parole, and one of the questions I had was what criminal record could be in effect for the person coming to do the apprenticeship program? Any criminal history at all? I mean, you guys accept non-violent offenders, that kind of stuff?
That's a good question. We get that a lot. I can say that we have accepted many, I can't tell you how many, but we have had several folks that have come through who've had criminal backgrounds, excuse me. They have to, one of the check boxes on the registration is, would you agree to a criminal background check? You don't say, do you have a criminal background? So that's a question, yes or no, for anyone who fills out that registration. Number two, depending on where they're going, the trades don't necessarily say, you have a criminal background, we're not going to accept you. That is not the case. So I have painters that have criminal backgrounds, but they cannot go on specific jobs. So they can't go work in a school, for instance, and paint. So it's really case by case, project by project. If you're working, you know, for Lindy Paving, and you're working on a highway, that's a whole different ballgame. So it shouldn't be a deterrent to apply, and it certainly isn't a full-fledged barrier to getting employment.
Okay, thank you. That's what I really wanted to know. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Chiquita, so now the next step is them going online and applying, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, only for this, I'm looking at my calendar here. For this particular cohort in January, after the 20th, I won't be accepting any more applications due to the process that I outlined for you, based on our calendars, the holidays, and working with CareerLink to get all of the eligibility information done.
Okay, is that November 20th or December?
Yes, that's this week.
Okay, so the application process is closing.
No. It's like, okay, let me get this straight. The enrollment process for January 4th will be closing on November the 20th.
Okay.
Okay. However, we have 2 more cohorts that are scheduled in the spring. It won't be, I mean, I'm gonna have to tell you exactly. Hold on. Okay. Now, for the cohort that starts on March the 29th, and this is tentative based on COVID, okay? For the class that starts on March the 29th, we will start the enrollment process on February the 22nd through March the 12th. For the class that's scheduled tentatively for May 17th, we will start the enrollment process on April the 5th. So if someone after the 20th or anytime between now and the 12th of March puts in a registration, I'm going to contact them for that next cohort. So registration is always open. The enrollment period is what closes.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, you're talking to people, and for the young lady I just spoke to a little while ago, if they're not able to get that done by the end of this week, if you don't have somebody that's pressing right now, then they should still put the application in. Even for Kristen, if there are people that maybe, you know, in pre-release or about to come out, or they're ready but not ready for January 4th, they should still put the registration in, because all of that goes into our website. I'm able to go out and pull all that down from the Access database. And I contact everybody via the email that they put on that registration.
Okay, so there's another question on here. This is regarding the completion rate for the program. Do you have any stats on that?
Yep, our completion rate is 95%. And our apprentice rate at this time, not counting the cohort that just graduated on October 16th, right now it's at 70%.
Okay. Wow.
One of the things I think, I'm not sure if we have organizations today or we have potential candidates. Let's talk a little bit about barriers, just for a minute. To go into the laborers union, I'll use that as an example. They graduate, we have people that graduated on the 16th of October that wanted to go into the laborers. And they can be accepted into the laborers, but there's an initiation fee. The initiation fee is like $600 and something. Sometimes they have it and sometimes they don't. And so if they don't have it, then they can't start working. Okay, I have painters that there's an initiation fee, but sometimes we have had some partnerships where the direct hires, for instance, like they go directly into Dick or Lindy or Faye, where they will take that initiation fee out of their pay as they work. We've had some that they bring them in and then they pay once they've gotten paid. Now, for instance, if you wanted to do laborers, they have a specific section, another subdivision for asbestos removal, which is big. There's a big demand for that. In order to go into asbestos removal, they have to have a medical clearance to make sure that they're healthy, they don't already have any kind of outlying issues. And that particular fee for that medical is about $150. That's out of pocket. We tell the students this, we tell the candidates, we tell them that they can either save the $750 that they get over 6 weeks. Most do not, they need it. But still, there are some that they know up front, they save their money. There are some that are maybe part-time working or working and getting paid, I'm going to say it under the table because they're working or doing handyman jobs or handywoman jobs. But you have to think about that. And that's one of the reasons why maybe some of the not acceptance rates, but work rates, it could be higher than 70% if the graduates had that initiation fee right off the bat. They have the cars, they're ready to go, but they can't get that initiation fee up at that time. And that's one of we say guaranteed, placement. I don't flaunt that as much because people think that as soon as they come out of graduation, they're going to go right to work, and they skip that little part where it's going to cost you. It's going to be a little bit more of an investment for you. So we need to keep that in mind. And some of the organizations like Urban League, one of our partners, they've helped. There are some of the outlying counties that I've worked with, their limit for individual tuition and support services, they have a little bit more money that they offer per resident. They're able to help them do that. But that is another one of the quote unquote barriers that we face with candidates going directly to work. Now, if they go, we're working on getting them directly into the job, like with Mascaro and Fay, and Sentinel Construction has hired some people. Mascaro is also, we're also looking into those general contractors that are working with the Civic Arena project. We just talked to Dick earlier this week about direct hires. A direct hire, then they kind of bypass that initiation fee by going directly into the union. So there are a couple of caveats we need to keep in mind, that it gets a little bumpy sometime at graduation.
Okay, here's a question. You know, if they graduate, someone graduates and they need to pay that initiation fee, would they do it on a prorated basis, or is it like all at once kind of payment?
That depends on the trade. The laborers, they take it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
The painters have made arrangements where they can pay as they get paid because they're working directly on a job. I mean, the painters that took them in as direct hire, those graduates were making $25 an hour.
Okay,
So,
is that a one-time fee?
yes. No,
Okay.
it's a yearly fee. I'm sorry, it's a yearly fee.
Okay.
What is the, you said the $20 per day stipend?
Mm-hmm.
What's the class time?
The time is from 9 to 1 and it's $25.
Oh, $25 a day?
Yes, for
Okay.
attendance, yes.
9 a.m. to 1 p.m.? Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
And those are all personal. There's no virtual classes or anything like that. Is that right?
No virtual class, but there are some virtual instruction.
Okay.
You know, unless they, shut us down, then they're required to be here. Everybody wears a mask. We do temperature checks. I do a lot of sanitizing personally, clean tables and chairs before and after every class. There's no standing around. I don't serve any food, no coffee, no donuts, none of those types of things. And I have sanitizers on the walls. And I use 2 bathrooms, one for the men, one for the women. So we were very fortunate this year that we only had one person that left because they felt that, we were concerned about they didn't have a temperature, but they kept getting sick or going to the hospital or whatever. So, but we didn't have anybody that came up positive for COVID. And we're limited to 15 people in the classroom. I can't do more than 15 to keep the 6-foot social distancing for sitting in the classroom. And that's including, not including the instructor.
Okay.
What is like the base pay minimum after they graduate that they can, whether it be a private employer or a union job? What is like?
Well, apprentices make anywhere from $15 to $20 per hour as an apprentice. However, a direct hire, such as the ones I was talking about for the painters, you go directly into a construction company, you may be making journeyman wages. And journeyman wages could be, my painters that were out there, they were making $30 an hour, working on Saturdays and Sundays. On Sundays was an $800 day because it was double time and a half. Because the contractor again had to get the job done. So they were, that was a lot of overtime. Keep in mind also that you could work on a job where you may work 4 10s, to do a 40-hour week, or you could work 7 12s. It depends on the job. It depends on the contractor. And also we talk about health and nutrition. You have to get some sleep. You got to eat right. You can't just get out on a job and expect to work in construction and not keep your health up and your strength and your stamina.
Okay, anyone else have any questions? Because we'll close here if not. Last call.
Well, I put my email in. If you think of something later, I put the also, I think our website, I put it in somewhere there. If you would like to have me send you the flyers, I'm willing to do that. If you would like this particular presentation done again in your organization for your clients that you work with, I'm happy to do that as well.
All right. Well, thank you again. A lot of good information today. Not the same as seeing you in person, but definitely appreciate it. And everybody else, thank you as well. And the website again is buildersguild.org. And, definitely follow up if you're interested.